Yeah, that's another format we want to try to innovate. The multiple SEers, a mediator, and yeah, hang on. Hey, what's up? It's like my YouTube channel hobby. I'm like to chat with people about whatever they want to talk about, help them think through their reasoning about something.
Do you come up with the topics, or do I?
I do have some topics on the board there to offer, or it really could be anything. It's not so much about what we start with, but then getting into the reasoning. That's where I want to focus. Want to give it a shot?
How long are you going to be here? I have a final tomorrow that I kind of need to study for. Because I saw you a couple days ago, and I was like, ooh,
this is going to be the last time I'm here for a while, unfortunately. We can set a timer if you want.
I'm down. Why not?
All right, great. Awesome. I was chatting with some other friends of mine who do the same thing, similar thing. Street Epistemology. Have you heard of that yet?
I have not.
Great, cool. Well, it's like a Socratic way of having conversations, friendly, and cordial.
Sure.
Where someone makes a claim and someone else in the SE role helps them think through it with questions, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Sweet.
Do you need the umbrella right now?
What is the umbrella?
I've got the umbrella.
I'm fine, thank you.
It's almost
I thought there was some special umbrella.
It's just like a 5 to 10 minute window where people are blinded.
I'm okay, don't worry about it.
That's right there. Want to do headphones real quick?
Sure.
Okay, feel free to put those on.
Oh, they're right here, my fault.
Do you mind if I record and stream? Is that cool? Awesome. And could I get your first name?
Matt.
Matt, M-A-T?
M-A-T-T.
Gotcha.
Yes.
My name is Reed.
Nice to meet you, Reed.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, so what would you like to chat about? You said you have finals
yes.
tomorrow. And you need to
Today
study. What are you studying?
I'm a cognitive science major, so I have a social psychology class tomorrow, and I just got out of a French final.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not very good at French, so don't make me speak.
Neither was I in college.
Yeah.
Even though I took it like all, through school, it was just never clicked with me.
I guess that's something interesting. I think that it's valuable for people to learn a language, but I think that teaching it, the way they teach languages now could be improved, I feel like. My biggest problem has been making the things I want to say in English come out in French, but like when I have a pencil in my hand, I can do it pretty well. Whereas when I'm sitting here talking, it's harder to put it all together. And I feel like, I guess education in general kind of, people tend to like be able to fall, especially at a big school like this, people tend to be able to fall into the massive crowd and like sneak through without learning as much as people think we have, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I remember I would study for the test, and a month later, forget everything.
Yeah.
It was not the best use of my time, but getting context and everything, that's another part of it. And it's just social skills, getting that.
Do you mind if I ask if and or where you went to school?
University of Central Florida.
Cool.
In Orlando.
Awesome.
Yep. And this is also a very nice college, but very different.
For sure. Mm-hmm. Similar size, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, we wanted to talk about something.
Sure. Let's get a topic going. I'm sorry, I'm bad at
cognitive science.
Yes.
There's other things. It really could be anything. Politics, religion, spirituality, science, philosophy.
I have a solid religious background if you want to prod me with some questions.
Okay. All right. Solid religious background?
Yeah. I went to Catholic all-boys school growing up, but my mom is from Texas, and she was a longtime Southern Baptist until realizing that their values didn't really line up with hers in the way she wanted them to, so now she is an Episcopal minister. So I've got a little bit of background.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
We could chat about that, or just the central question, does a God exist? Is that the main claim in all religious topics?
Yeah.
Or something else?
I think people tend to look for answers, and I think this is an interesting one because I don't think that people are looking for the answer without really knowing what the question is.
Yeah,
like you ask, like, is there a God, or like, why are we here? And I feel like those aren't like those are good questions, but they're not the. I think they're not the questions that. They're questions that are impossible to answer. And I feel like you can. I guess we'll start with, is there a God? Like, I think is there some person in the sky controlling everything we do? No, I do not think that. But I do think that life would be kind of a bummer if we just had it and then it ended, you know? I think people tend to want to grasp and reach for support, and whether that's family, friends, or religion, like, there are ways that people want these big questions answered, and I think every religion has has very positive aspects. The values they preach are often positive, often about sharing with those around you, helping those around you, being a good person, however you take that, or whatever you take that to mean. But I think that when you have such massive organizations like the Catholic Church, or like, I think it's like 2 billion people are Islamic, something like that. Like, it's easy for the message to get muddled by the organization itself in terms of staying afloat, staying powerful, and I think that it's good for people to be inquisitive and like reach for these questions, reach for these answers, but I think a lot of the time you have to find that yourself, and it's a lot harder to go to a place or a person and have them answer those questions for you, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, so rather than maybe the boring question, does a God exist, there's other questions that might be more relevant. Like, I'm hearing questions like, how do we be a good person? How does someone be a good person? And like, how do we find meaning in life? Especially if we know we're going to die.
Yeah.
Those are the kinds of questions, potentially.
I think for me, at least, like, life is about two things. It's about yourself and the people around you. It's easy to get caught up in either too much. It's easy to be too worried about who's around you, who you're associating with, who you're friends with, all the getting into gossip and all that sort of stuff. It's also easy to be too focused on yourself and be too worried about pressures, or pushing yourself too hard, or worrying about how people perceive you. And I think that, I guess to me, a good life, if at the end I can say I'm happy, and I can say that I love the people that are with me at the end, then I guess I will have had a good life.
Cool, yeah. And where does religion come into that? Is that required for, or does having a religious life make that more possible, more likely?
I think so. I actually read about this pretty recently in one of my classes, the one I have the final for tomorrow, and people who there have been studies done that people who are religious tend to be happier. I currently don't claim to be religious. I have considered myself pretty religious in the past, but I think a lot of that happiness from religion can come from that community, that church community, that synagogue community, whatever community you find through your faith. I think that those people are going to share common ideals, those people are going to share common values, and when you're surrounded by a group of people that you think are good people, you tend to be happier. So I think in terms of how so that's one way religion affects happiness, I'd say, in terms of who you surround yourself with. I'd say the other way is, again, back to those big questions, like, we want to find answers, we want to know what we're doing, and I think religion for a lot of people is a way to process that and process the greater, like, everything else without getting too too much existential dread, I guess.
Yeah, it does seem to answer those big questions. It has very clear answers for those things. Why are we here?
Yeah.
Because a God wanted us to be, or something. And where are we going? Well, to an afterlife potentially. Yeah, it's like, are these satisfying answers? Should people follow religions because of the comfort or happiness potentially, more so than other potential reasons?
I think if you ask people why they're religious, people tend to not know how to answer that. Because most people, at least that I've met, are religious because they were raised that way. I see very few people who were raised atheist or agnostic and then decided to become another religion regardless of what that may be. And there are people like that, but I think that if you ask someone why they are religious, you'll very rarely get like an answer other than I was told this and I believe this, or like there are two answers. I feel like you get the answer where people say, oh, like this is just what I believe, this is true to me, or you say like this is just how I was raised and it's a part of my life, and both of those are valid answers. But I think that if religion is like answering these big questions for us, and then you're asked why you're religious, I feel like you should be able to have a concrete answer to that makes sense for you. And I guess that's part of why I am no longer religious, because like I said, I went to Catholic school. I was raised Catholic for I guess 18 years, and I was kind of, when I was graduating high school, I was kind of like, why am I doing this? Is it for me? Is it to make my parents happy? And I kind of realized that I didn't have a reason for myself, and so that's why I consider myself not religious now. And that might change, but I think that in terms of religion, it's only as good for you as you want it to be. And if you don't have a reason to be participating in it, you're gonna find it a lot harder to get those positives from it.
Okay, maybe how about this question? That's great. I appreciate you sharing that. That's great. How about, this is interesting. Should everyone not be religious eventually?
I think eventually that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, should that happen?
Like I said before, there are a lot of positive values in religions, regardless of which one. But I think that as long as those positive values are there in the world, and people can find ways to associate with them, and also find ways to answer those big questions that they have by themselves or with the people around them, then I think religion's a little bit less necessary. But I think that it's important for a lot of people to have something to hold on to in times of hardship, and religion is that for a lot of people. So I don't know if it would be a good thing if all religion was gone, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happens.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I want to check in on time. How are you feeling? Want to keep going, or do you want to wrap up?
Right now. Maybe one more question if you got one.
So it's like, would the world be a better place without religion? Potentially, is another question. We're saying if it's necessary for some people, then
then I guess no, it's not.
No,
yeah.
It would not be a better place. Yeah.
I think there are so many people. There are a lot of people who take religion to like an antagonistic extreme, and I think that sense of religion is bad for the world. But I think that, like I said, there are a lot of people looking for answers to questions, and there are a lot of people that want something to like help keep pushing them, and they want. Sorry, it's a little bit of a tangent, but I've kind of been thinking about this a lot through college as I'm starting my junior year. It's like no one's really telling you what to do. No one's really like, this is how you do life. This is how you do this. You want to have a good career, you want to look at this place or go over here. And I think a lot of people like the idea that someone is with them, someone is planning for them, someone is with them when they're down, with them when they're up. And yeah, I think religion is kind of an important thing.
Yeah. What percentage of the population is religion necessary for the next foreseeable future?
When you say
Let's
that, do you mean like
in the United States?
Okay, yeah, but when you say Like, is it necessary? Do you mean you want the people, like, you're talking about the percentage of people, I think.
People who couldn't find alternative
okay.
ways to meet what religion's doing for people.
Yeah, I think in general, people need to be a little bit more self-reflective. And I think we're moving in a direction where most people are becoming a little bit more self-reflective as a society. But I think religion will be most important for those people that find it harder to answer the questions within themselves. So I don't really know how to put a percentage to that, but I'll go with
like
25.
More than
maybe.
half? 25%?
Yeah, I'll go with 25.
Okay. So, yeah, okay. All right. Okay, cool. Yeah, then maybe if you see me again next year at some point when I
For
come
sure.
back,
I'll
would
stop by.
love to pick it up. And I like to offer one of those yellow, red, or blue squishy puzzle pieces things. It's like a stress ball thing.
Sweet.
Maybe great for this week.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'll need it.
Yeah.
Very nice to meet you, Reed.
Nice meeting you, Matt. That was great.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I enjoyed that. I'm glad I sat down.
Cool. Great.
A little mental break, and that was useful.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day.